I gave a talk also on the retreat. The talk was based on the questions they asked me, what are the route map on the way to, or what are the paths in Buddhist practices on Buddhism that the Buddha laid down. And for those who are not Buddhist, I don't know who are the participants today on the Zoom. For now, I will use peace or happiness in the case of Nibbana. So Nibbana or Nirvana in Sanskrit is the ultimate ultimate reality, ultimate truth, the ultimate aims that aim of Buddhist practices there. We all Buddhists would like to achieve Nirvana one way or the other, either this life or next life. So one of the question was, is there any, what are the tools and techniques or route map on the way to Nirvana? And then, so I was talking, this talk took more than 1 hour, so I'm going to finish very briefly in probably 10 to 15 minutes. We will catch up next week because it may take actually for at least 3 to 4 months to finish entire route map to the Nibbana. So in generally, whenever we go to different places or whatever we do, we need to have some sort of tools to get there. If you're flying from anywhere, let's say you're flying from Michigan or California or Texas, you may have to get a ticket. Some of the tickets are cheaper, some of them are expensive, and on the way, how many stops you have to stop along the way, you have to find food, other logistic issues also. Likewise, on the way to Nirvana, on the way to peace, I'm using this peace is that a few years ago, I met a woman at a nursing home, or she's kind of a very elderly care center. She claims that she in Buffalo, close to Niagara Falls, she is, or she was maybe, one of the earliest practitioner, Vipassana practitioner in the US, probably in 60s or 70s. And during our discussion and in the questions of also on Nibbana, that she was defining her way, defining her ways, defining the way that she understood and the way that she felt, the way that she experienced during the meditation is a peace. Of course, Nibbana also in the Buddhist text as one of the synonyms for Nirvana is the peace. Nibbanam paramang sukhan also. Nibbana is the highest happiness actually. Why it is called highest happiness and how so, we will be also discussing in this aspect also. There are many route to Nirvana or things that we need to do on the way to Nirvana. Beside this mindfulness meditation, meditation is one of the aspects of on the way to Nirvana. In the Buddhist texts, in many of the texts, some of them are later compiled. Some of them are very earliest ones. So these are called 37 factors of enlightenment. Buddhi Pakya Dhamma. Buddhi Pakya Dhamma, 37. So there are Sattangsa, meaning the 37. Buddhi is the enlightenment, and the factor, all the Pakya in Sanskrit, meaning the wing also. So different translated in different ways also. 37 wings of enlightenment, or 37 factors of enlightenment. Sattangsa here, 37. So here's the summary of the 37, as you can see. 4 ways of attending to mindfulness, which is the Satipatthana Sutta, the 4 mindfulness, which is the mindfulness of the Kaya, Kayanupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana, and also the Vedananupassana, the fourfold mindfulness. This will be also discussed, and then also the Virya and the 4 right striving, making effort on the way to nirvana, and also 4 path to power also there, and also the 5 faculties, which is pancha indriya, and the 5 strength, pancha bala, and the 7 factors of awakening also, satta bhujanga, this one, satta bhujanga, and the Eightfold Noble Path. So all together there are 37 paths to enlightenment. Some of them actually 37 are included here in this one of these things. Some of them are separately also. In different suttas, the Buddha have given different lists, and different suttas also given different lists also. Some of the suttas just Eightfold Noble Path, other suttas are 7 factors of enlightenment, other suttas have only the 5 strand, Panchabala, and so on and so forth. Nonetheless, later on, collectively, they are called as a Satta Tingsa, 37. Let me see. And today, I'm going to talk about this one, called the Satta Bhujanga, 7 factors of enlightenment, because these 7 factors of enlightenment in the sutta, it says that they are conducive to the peace, conducive to the happiness, and ultimately the ultimate way of reaching the nirvana. The first one is the mindfulness again. This mindfulness again are divided into, even though the Buddha did not give any definition or any explanation of mindfulness in these 7 factors of enlightenment, but nonetheless, we have to go back again to this the fourfold mindfulness in order to deeper understanding of the mindfulness that probably we will continue talking this thing. So what during the meditation, just briefly, is that during the meditation, we try to understand how the mindfulness or how the awareness works while we are keeping our attention, keeping our mindfulness, keeping our awareness, and every moment of our body and our mind, how they're arising, how they're passing away, how they're pleasant, how they are unpleasant, how they're good, how they're bad, and so on and so forth. So this is the mindfulness that perhaps when the Buddha was meditating in the deep forest, and he checked every details of our mind, mental, and physical phenomena during the meditation, and he used body and the mind not as a source of burden, as some people think also. Even many of the Buddha's disciple also thought that the body can be some kind of very, source of unpleasant thing, source of painful also. They even want to commit the suicide also because of its unbearable painful of the body when we have a body. In contrast, the Buddha, for example, the Kayanupassana, the mindfulness of breathing, the first one, the meditation on body, he used body, our very own physical body, as a source of enlightenment. So this is the one that we talk about. The 4 satipatthanas are the observing of the body, mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of feeling, mindfulness of mind, and mindfulness of principle. Here, principle is Dhamma, Dhammanupassana, and the principle of or emotions that happen during the meditation also, which also we will talk in greater details. So what happened, the second one is Dhamma Vichaya here, so the investigation. So Dhamma Vichaya. Dhamma Vichaya is the investigation of the Dhamma. Many of you may have experienced or have not also during the meditation, but I can guarantee is that during the meditation, especially the beginners, you all have experienced this thing. There is another one when we go back. What is the first one? There you go. This the pancha bala and the 5 strength and the 5 faculties, the pancha indriya, which is also one of the 37 factors of enlightenment. There, one of the very fast indriya, the faculties of the path to enlightenment, is the saddha, the faith. the fate. Some of my friends who went to first time Vipassana, for instance, two sisters from Rochester, New York, in 2013 and 14, when they went to the 10 days Vipassana retreat, first time. First 3 days, their mind has been wondering and why they are there, meaning why they came to meditation. Because once you register, once you're there, you cannot come back. Well, you can come back if you don't like it, any retreat, you can stop and you can come back. But when you come back, when they're thinking of coming out of meditation, that's also they feel some kind of feeling bad or feeling shame, feeling awkwardness, middle of the meditation, they left. I'm sure there will be somebody will be talking or gossiping, which is not right to do. But sometimes life, we do sometimes talk. So they were afraid of leaving. At the same time, they were not very happy also for the first 3 days. This happened to everyone, including myself too. So what they do during the meditation is that, especially the faith, the Shraddha, is questioning yourself whether you are in the whether you're on the right path, whether you're wrong path, and why I'm here, and so on and so forth. Whether is there such a thing called enlightenment or awakening or anything that can happen. So during the meditation, whether you're monks or non-monks, whoever it is, the meditator, use this Dhamma Vichaya, investigating the Dhamma, investigating their emotions, investigating their feelings. Or in the West, there is actually the notion is that when we meditate, we tend to, or we are asked to also, that emptying our mind, basically we should not think, we should not allow any thought to come, just simply make empty of your mind or nothingness in your mind, which is realizing emptiness, realizing nothingness is also one of the sign of enlightenment too, or one of the synonyms of Nirvana. However, in contrast, we find that even the Buddha, during his meditation, he used to think, he used to contemplate, he used to, there are thoughts appear. For example, in the Mahavagga Pali, in the Vinaya Pitaka Mahavagga, sometime when the Buddha goes to the from monastery, away from monastery to the deep forest, when he was alone meditating, and he himself, when he came out of meditation, and he said to the monk, "Oh monk, this is the thing, that is the thought appears to me. This is the thinking came to me." And then he explained why such a thing comes to him, and how he can stop, and how we can reduce also those unnecessary thought also during the meditation. The point is that whether you're enlightenment, whether you're non-enlightenment, whether you're Buddha or whether you're Arahants, whether you're not non-Arahant, the thoughts will be there also. And which is why there are two kinds of meditation that the Buddha practice, or he has suggested to us to practice. One is the Samatha Bhavana, and one is the Vipassana meditation. So those are interlinked actually. Either you take Vipassana way of enlightenment to Nirvana, or whether you take Samatha way of to the Nibbana. Basically, ultimately, it is the same. There are different routes. For instance, if you're coming to Washington, D.C., you can take the longer route, you can take the shorter route also. On the route, many things can happen also, including unnecessary traffic or accident, and so on and so forth. So on the path to Nirvana, so we can expect also things can happen also to us. I mean, previous session, Archana has clearly explained also there are, among many other things, the 5 hindrances are there, the 5 obstacles that block on the path to peace, on the path to happiness, on the path to Nirvana also. So during the meditation, so we do investigate also those things. For instance, a lot of in America, when they have some kind of personal crisis or personal issues that happening, it can happen within the family members. It can happen into the in a relationship also, or in husband and wife, or the job crisis, and so on and so forth. What they do is that they go to the retreat center. When you're alone, you can you can have time as much as you can to engage those thoughts also during the meditation, and then you can come out of with the best solution also. What happens is that sometimes if you share something, your innermost experiences, whatever experiences may be, whether fighting between two people or any organization, company, something happen, if you share with your friends, somehow friends tend to use exploitation rather than giving some kind of honest or reflective solution to the problem. They use it as a sign of weaknesses and start talking, backbiting, gossiping, so and so happen. So the best way is to do is that withdraw from the moment, possibly sit for a few hours. It take maybe a few days if it is long, intensive crisis, and then based on your thinking, reflections, or the mental development, bhavana, on the issues, on the situations surrounding that you are facing, you can come out of some kind of very insightful solution to the problem rather than talking to your friend or therapist, which is very expensive to go. So this is what we investigation the Dhamma. We don't have enough time, so maybe come back another time. So this is the for virya, the four right striving, or the fourfold effort. So during the on the way to nirvana, during the meditation, or even the post meditation, is that, which is quite interesting also. When we go to the retreat, we are asked to do, or we are suggested to do, if your teachers, is that just to be mindful, just to be aware of, just to be keeping our attentions during the meditation. Very often, which is good actually, we somehow manage or survive, so to say. For instance, in the last week 10 days retreat, out of 25, there are almost like 15 people who have never had a meditation also. Even the grandmas who are 65 to 70s, we were very surprised also that how they managed to do this thing. They flew from Massachusetts, Rhode Islands, Alaska, and so forth. And they wake up from 4 a.m. and stay until 9 p.m. too, which is kind of very surprising for us. So even though it's kind of surprising for us, but in practically it is true that you have to develop these four things. One is you have to make effort. Things are not developed yet, and you have to also make an effort. You should try is that is something is really not good in our in our feeling, in our thought, in our body, that we should also try to avoid, or or we should make it abandon also. And then the fourth one is whatever wholesome thing, whatever good things, whatever positive things has not developed, we should try to develop. And the last one is, if there are such a good things, good vibe, such a prayer, blessing, or any kind of friendliness thinking, all the positive thing we should maintain and we should protect also by making effort also. These are the four virya, the four effort. And the third one is the piti. And during the meditation, many of you may have experienced already or maybe not, is that after 10-15 minutes, you will feel clearly joy and happiness also during the meditation, what we call in Pali piti, or Sanskrit priti, the rapture, the emotional satisfactions during the meditation also. This is one of the feeling during the meditation that we experience. And this is passaddhi, or tranquility. This is also the one of the one of the experience also during the meditation that we experience, and this is also very important also on the route to nirvana. So if you are not experiencing any of this joy, piti, or passaddhi, tranquility or calmness your mind, and you can check yourself, your emotion, that we can kind of say ourselves that we are not still on the path to nirvana yet. And we will cover in details of this. I'm intending to present this talk probably next 3 months also. Okay, now this is the fifth one is samadhi, concentration. Again, so concentration versus meditation, there are two others. What is the differences between samadhi, meditation, and also the samadhi, concentration, and meditation? So samadhi the concentration tend to be just to focus. That we have also samatha yanika and vipassana yanika, two ways of meditation also. The samatha yanika is very helpful, especially people who has PTSD or any kinds of attention seeker or any attention disorder people who has always thinking, overthinking, or worry, anxiety, so on and so forth. This or people who have lack of attention also, who keep thinking or keep changing every 15 seconds or 1 minute. This samadhi bhavana, concentration meditation is very highly effective. This will train you. There are 40 kinds of samatha bhavana, and any one of them is very helpful to control our mind, to train our mind, so that there will be no what you call not relaxing the mind. And the sixth one is upekkha. And one way or the other, during the meditation, we do experience this upekkha, equanimity. So equanimity also, if you do not feel equanimity during the meditation also, then you can question also, based on the teachings of the Buddha, the guideline that we have in the Tripitaka, also that whether it is on the right path or the wrong path in the practice also. And many of you probably experienced equanimity, and there are 4 Brahma Viharas, or 4 sublime practice also. One of them is the Upekkha meditation. Maybe also we will talk also this meditation Upekkha also in one of the session. And the last one, yeah, that's the last one. Okay, this is Pancha Indriya. Okay, we'll talk next week. Okay, if you have any questions, then we can have some question.
Sadhu. Thank you so much, Bhante. There's one question from Naksin in the chat box. Naksin, maybe you can unmute yourself and please go ahead with your question. Thank you.
Let me check it again. Okay. Okay. Is Naksin still there? I'm trying to find out the chat box.
Yeah, Bhante, I'm there. I'm traveling actually.
Okay.
My question was related to like, who is eligible for an enlightenment or for nirvana? And as you pointed a couple of attributes or characteristics, uh, whether we are on the right path or not. Like you said that the emptiness is the feeling where uh, the enlightened person can feel, right? So, what else other kind of things? Like you also mentioned in the sequence, right? So it's a very nice discourse and the presentation. Thanks for that.
Okay. So everyone is eligible for enlightenment, whether you're male, whether you're female, whether you're Sramanera or novice monk, or whether you're senior monk, whether you are poor, whether you're rich, everyone is welcome and eligible to the Nibbana. There's no doubt. And in terms
So
of
You mean the animals, other species are also pleased?
There are stories that the non-human being also have achieved enlightenment also. How true that I can't tell, but in terms of textual evidences, there are some stories in Tripitaka mentioned. So the question is whether those stories are invented or whether the story is real. That is, I cannot give you the correct answer. Even though, let's say, when the Buddha was giving talks, some of the I think mostly deities actually they gain enlightenment also when they have ability to penetrate the wisdom.
Okay.
So Bhante, I have a question. This is Jagdish. You mentioned about the emptiness, right? And the a person, right, who understand the emptiness, right? Does it mean that who understand the no self, no selfness, right? Is that what you mean as an emptiness?
Yes, so there are many ways, many similes and paragraph mention about emptiness. So emptiness of self is the one of the sign of arahantship. In the text is mentioned about, because once you realize that our body, our panchaskandha, the five aggregates, is empty, then you have no attach to the five aggregates, also the future rebirth. And in this way, you kind of abandon your body, and eventually there's no any negative feeling of your body. Then whenever there's a positivity in your body, then it is a kind of described in the, or at least indicated in the sutta, is that you have felt the awakening within yourself by realizing this very body and this very mind is emptiness. And there are many emptiness sunyata, the term used in the Buddha also. For example, in the Mahasakapasana Sutta, when at the beginning, Sunyagare Gatowa, meaning that when you go to the deep forest where it's empty of people, and it is the quiet place for meditation, and from there it goes all the way to the arahantship also.
Thank you, Bhante.
I see some new people also. Let me see. Oh, okay. Okay, so the Karuna has, yeah, so I think I need to be a little consistent now when I prepare talks. So hopefully next week also I will continue this the same topic.
Thank you, Bhante. And I was also thinking about the book reading that we were doing. Have we completed it? Did I miss anything?
We haven't completed yet the book reading. I think we are in the chapter 3 or 4. We haven't completed yet. Okay. So we'll complete the book also.
Thank you, Bhante.
And anybody would like to share? We see the Taya Traeger, the new one. Have we met before? Would you like to introduce to us also the Sisale?
Is Toya still here? I don't know. She might have had to. Oh, yeah, she's still there, but she might have walked away. This is Sherry.
I'm still here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sherry invited me. Thank you so much for this. This has been wonderful. My question is wondering how to phrase this in a way that makes sense, but as a mother of 3 and a business owner and a longtime meditator, I feel like my goal is to become, not striving for enlightenment, but in my meditation, trying to find that peace and Buddha nature within myself. But at the same time, you know, it's difficult to let go and become, you know, one when I have many people I still have to take care of. And so it's like, how does one find balance in searching for that peace within oneself, but also dealing with having to be responsible for other people and their needs and their you know, kind of grasping at attention and their needing their egos fed. I wonder if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, so someone said a long time ago also, it might be appropriate, it might be not appropriate also in many cases, is that when you if you're looking for peace, we have to make a war or something. That's in the context of the war, maybe, but in the context of the personal peace, and then individual peace and the peace of other, we have to make some balance between the peace we're seeking and also between the peace that other people are seeking also, and while we have some responsibility also, which is not that easy. I'm sure you have been doing very good actually for yourself and also for the others. Responsible, when we have responsible, is not easy also. That it's for some, it can be even also the burden too in some cases. Nonetheless, from our own, the experience of our own inner peace, meaning that in our monastery, for instance, what we do as a monk is that many people may think that monks are very peaceful, calm, meditative, and so on and so forth, which is true also. On the other hand, other side of the reality of the monks, that we don't have enough peace also. When we have to deal with even let's say 10 people, so we get 10 kinds of opinion. You know, husband one day will come to the temple, they complain about wife, and likewise wife also, and friends, car problem, this problem, that problem. Sometimes they until recently in the West, you know, they go to the therapist, but nonetheless they usually come to the temple. Whatever issues in the society, in the family have, we have to hear it. We have to sit down and listen for hours and hours, meaning that we also don't get peace, the very peace that we are looking for also. But nonetheless, we are very happy is that there is a story or statement in one of the discourse of the Buddha, is that whatever we hear from the left side and throw it out to the right side. And if we hear from right side and let it go from left side, because if we keep all this thinking, all the noises, all the opinions, all the issues who are bringing to our monasteries or the temple, then we will never be peace. So we hear something and we give some insight to the people to make some solution and then let it go. We should not keep those things. I think similarly also a lot of therapists also the same thing. I have a lot of therapist friends too. Sometimes even they cannot handle all the trauma that people are telling them during the session. They often also share with me those stories also. You mentioned about the Buddha nature, which is very interesting also. Yeah, we all have a nature of the Buddha within ourselves, but because of the external influences, sometimes we do not realize, not all the time, at least during the meditation or in some occasion post-meditation also, we do realize that Buddha nature is always with us, and Buddha nature is our hope that to maintain peace in ourselves, also in relation to the society's expectation.
Thank you so much, Bhante.
Okay, looks like I have a lot of works now for this talk, so I need to prepare in written text now next time.
Anybody has any more questions?
If not, so see you next week. So please do come whenever you have a time. Every Wednesdays, this is free. So and have a
Thank you.
and have a peaceful moment with us also. Who is the cheers? I don't know who else. Monica, she left.
I'm your BFF from Instagram that met you in Buffalo that has the husband from Burma. You know me. It's Sherry.
Okay, Sherry. Okay. So
Just share for short.
okay.